So as I said in the first video, there's a program that comes with Freespace 2 called Fred. And if you haven't started looking around in Fred, I actually recommend it at this point. But if you have been looking around in Fred and you pull down this menu, you might ask yourself, what determines what ships go in this list? And what determines what ships go in this list is called the ships table. And so what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk a little bit about the ships table. We're going to talk about the difference between a TBM and a TBL file. And we're going to finally import a mod asset. So let's talk about the ships table. So what I did, because Bandicam is kind of bad, is I already opened the root VP file. But all you have to do to get that is remember it's just right here, and then you open it up using VP View 32 or whatever program you have. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the ships table out of here. So data tables, and select the ships table, and then extract this to RMod. So RMod, you could put it right into RMod data tables, right in there. And so now when I open RMod, which is right here, data tables, there it is. So a couple things to look at here is the ships table. This is the Ulysses right here, right at the top. The ships table, as I mentioned briefly before, determines the characteristics of a ship. It determines what weapons that ship carries is allowed, what weapons that ship will carry by default. A couple flags, like if this is a player ship, if you could actually fly this as a player, and a whole bunch of stuff. So what I actually recommend at this point, because we've done the same thing with the weapons table, is that you play around with the numbers. Rotation time is the amount of time it will take for a ship to rotate 360 degrees. And so if you change around these numbers, these are for X, Y, and Z respectively, but I don't want to get into that too much. You can look this stuff up on the ships table wiki and to determine what each of these does. So I recommend you play around with this. Okay, so that's the ship table. We've got another table in our toolkit. That's great. Now the other thing that's really important to do is to be able to import user-made assets into our mod folders. So let's go ahead and do that. I was looking around in the wiki, and I found this interesting ship called the GTC Cretheus. Now this is a user-made asset. Volition didn't make this. Made by a guy who calls himself Axum. It's basically a glorified flak wagon. So let's say we want to download and import this. Well, at the bottom of the wiki here, there's a download link, and you can download this directly to our mod folder. So I went ahead and did that already, and I've got the Cretheus packed up file right on our mod in the root of our mod. So Freespace RMod, here it is. So I'm going to unpack this. I'm going to extract it here. And I've got a number of goodies that just popped out. So there's the maps. Here, wait. First of all, there's the model, which is the actual... I'm opening this up using PCS2, which is a program you don't have yet, but we're gonna talk about PCS2 in detail later. So there's the actual model. There's the maps, which are the pictures, as I described in the first video, the 2D images that get spray painted on the model itself, and then the last goodie here is the what's called a TBM file. Now, TBM files are text files, just like TBL files, but there's one distinct difference between a TBM and a TBL. A TBM adds to, this is a ships TBM. So this ships TBM will add to the ships TBL. All right. So it will not replace the ships TBL, but it will just, for example, add the data and characteristics for the Cretheus to our existing list. All right. So FSO will only load one ship's table, but you can have as many, or I shouldn't say as many, but quite a lot of TBMs. Maybe you can add as many. I don't know if there's some sort of a limit. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to actually, if we run this in Fred, the list will still ignore the Cretheus. So these files need to be in their appropriate location. So what this modder did is he already actually put the files in folders, but I want to manually do that so we understand where everything goes. So this TBM file goes in your data tables. So let's copy this guy and put him in RMod data tables. So TBMs belong in the tables folder. Okay, so models. You could probably guess that this all parallax object files, all parallax object files go into data models. So let's copy this guy. Whoops. RMod data. Now we don't have a models folder, so I'm going to go ahead and create one. All right, and paste right into there. Okay, and the last thing is the maps. So all these, I'm going to click the top guy, hold shift, and while holding shift, click the bottom guy. So I've selected all of them. And copy these guys into, RMod data, and then create a new folder called maps. So now what the maps folder is all of every parallax object file will have textures that map to that object file. So this is not the effects folder, which we'll talk about in a later video, but this is all the 2D images that get mapped onto a 3D images go in maps. Okay, good. So now that we have all of the data in place, I'm actually going to delete these files here. It won't hurt the mod, but it's just clutter that's unnecessary. So I'm going to delete these files. Delete all of them. Okay. So now when we open Fred, or wait a second, there's one key thing to do. We have to make sure that the launcher actually knows what mod to select, or we have to make sure Fred knows what mod to select when picking that list and all that. And the way that we do that is we go to this launcher and we select the mod we want, which is our mod, and we hit apply. And once we click this apply, Fred knows what to use this mod. Okay, so that's sort of important. All right, so so let's go into Fred and see if our list is different. And we will be pleasantly surprised. So we've got all the ships on our list originally, and then we have this extra guy. And so this is our ships TBM that we added that allows us to get this guy. And so then we've got, we can click that guy and use him like a normal ship, and we can Fred missions with this ship. Okay, so that'll conclude this video. In the next video, what we're going to do is get into more advanced table topics. I'd like to cover no create, and I'd also like to be able to reference assets, which is something we haven't talked about quite yet. So I'm going to look forward in the next video. Take care.